Hey guys, Ryan here for Bender Wins. Hope you guys are having a good afternoon, good start to your day. Just thought I'd do some live stream today, just do a little bit of Q&A. Don't know how long I'm going to be on today. I normally, this would be a time where I start to cap, some of the games tomorrow. Tomorrow probably going to be a pretty light day. So I figured I'd just jump on, do a live stream, address some of the questions, maybe some bankroll management stuff. Maybe if anyone wants to discuss about yesterday, as you guys are aware, yesterday, not a very fun day, not a fun day at all. I covered a few things in the video. I didn't want to make like today a super long video. So I filmed today's video, and when I finished, I talked about this in the video, but when I finished it, I had to go back and do it again because the Philly game, Nola got taken out. And so I had to go back and do that. It was going to be a 2-unit play on Philly. I give out Cleveland, and Cleveland gets postponed. So I did release another play. It was something I was keeping an eye on, guys. A basketball game. If you didn't see that, I'll just tell you guys. I gave out a play on Milwaukee first half money line. So the sorry, I just reading this. Cleveland postponed. I didn't get my pen before, so I was. Cleveland game postponed. Yeah. Well, yeah, the Cleveland game's canceled. Like if you're asking if it moved to a different date, will you bet it again? No, it's going to depend on a bunch of different things. So, but anyways, I just want to address really quickly, the Milwaukee game I gave out. Okay. So Milwaukee guys shopped the line around. The line I gave out, was a line, you can find kind of Pinnacle 5 dimes. They're sharp books. Okay. They're on top of this, guys. There's a lot of sharp bets on first half there, but someone posted a line as low as -150, which is huge value. I've seen lines, someone else posted a -180. So there is some good value out there. I think there's still good value, -195. Bovada's up -200 because, that's what Bovada does, right? What's criteria for you to make a 2-unit play? It's a good question. So it's a fine line sometimes between just like a really good 1-unit play or a 2-unit play. So 2-unit play, guys, we want to see everything line up. Okay. So, I mean, when I have a bunch of systems on one side, as well as, steam, reverse line moves, all that kind of stuff we look for, good money distribution. And above and beyond that, the most important thing is that I've capped this game where I believe that there's value. Okay. So it's not just, I think there's a misconception. So yesterday, I read some stuff say, Bender just follows trends, and I don't follow trends at all. I think maybe he means like system plays and stuff. I think there's like a misconception that my plays are basically, we just look for, chase steam and do that. No, there's a lot of times where I bet against steam and stuff like that, because the important aspect is first figuring out the percentages in terms of, what percentage is this team going to win? Okay. You want to try to convert that into it, and you want to try to create a story. Okay. A storyline that you can follow. And there has to be a perceived edge, because at the end of the day, what happens when there is steam? So let's say we have a team -150 and a bunch of steam comes in and it pushes the line to -170. Well, look, if you're just chasing that steam, how do you know there's still value? How do you know that when we did a steam bet, like the Sharps made the steam play, that it wasn't a thin value play to start with, and now at -170, there's no value there. So chasing steam just doesn't work. You have to evaluate. Every play in and of itself. So you got to go through. You got to cap the game. You look at all different pitching. So long story short, a 2-unit play means that I found an excessive amount of value in the play, but there's other things that'll back that up as well. So I have multiple system indicators on it. I have, other steam bets, other sharps out there that say, yeah, you know what, Bender, you're right. This is the right side as well. Above and beyond that, that we like to see a nice money distribution, because that is just backing up the fact that there are sharps on that play. So that's kind of what I look for in my 2-unit plays, but you want a lot to line up. And then the very rare 3-unit plays, the sun and the moon and the earth all have to align. They don't come up very often. So I actually, I'll float something by you guys. Like, it's not going to be in the near future, but when I came up with this, guys, like, I mean, I have set amounts that I bet. Like at this point in my career, I bet less than 1% on the games. But my question to you guys, would it be easier to continue with this unit system, or would it be better and more clear if I literally said a percentage? Like, should I be telling you guys, okay, look, 1% on this, 2% on there, all the way up to 5%? See, I don't like that concept for the simple reason that everyone is different. Everyone has different goals, right? I mean, some people's goals are going to be, that they, I talk about the different types of bankroll management, how different people have different goals. Obviously, someone who's a professional, I'm never going to tell them to bet 5% on a game, right? They're never going to do it. You never would do it. Someone who is a recreational bettor that doesn't mind adding to their bankroll, they might very well bet 5%. So, I mean, it's tough to figure out what the best system is. I think, the unit system has served us pretty well. But I know there's some people want like more in-depth direction, but I feel like, yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think it is good now. Like both would have their pluses and minuses, but I think I'll probably keep it. Yeah, but again, yeah, another good point. Like the percentages would help with the bankroll management. Yes, it just really, it's hard to give out a percentage because, I tell sports bettor, hey, I like this as a 3% play. But he's got a 250K bankroll. He's not going to go 3% on that game. Someone else might have a $100 bankroll. And 3%, it's a $3 bet, right? Maybe that's like what their comfort level is. So it's, they would definitely go 3, that would probably be their minimum bet, maybe even 5% if you got a $100 bankroll, right? So, it's tough. I think we probably stick with, just the units. It's probably the best way to go. Yeah, we miss hockey. I know. Tell me that was a good finals. Good finals there. It's so funny just watch like how I don't know what the hate about Tampa Bay is. Like everyone seems to be hating on Tampa Bay. Maybe because I'm in Canada and a Canadian team didn't win, but there's so much hate. I have a great amount of respect for Tampa Bay, and yeah, I just thought it was really weird. So Tampa Bay, if you guys don't know, they were over the salary cap, but well within the rules to do so. And Tampa Bay actually argued that when Chicago did it a couple years ago and won the cup, Tampa Bay said that's a loophole and that needs to be closed. No one else agreed with them. So Tampa Bay is like, oh, fine, we'll do it too. And they did. And then when Tampa Bay when Tampa Bay complained about Chicago, they got called a bunch of whiners. But then when Tampa Bay did it, they got called cheaters. So it's like, you can't win. It's a double standard, right? Let's see here. Is that a Pepsi? No, it's not. This is, it's a sparkling water. I used to drink a lot of Coke and Pepsi. I don't anymore. To be honest, I like limited my sugar intake a lot. I feel so much better. I know like people have said that, and I used to like binge on sugar all the time, especially when I'm like capping games. I used to like, get like the 5-cent candies, just eat them left, right, and center. But just limiting sugar dramatically, night and day difference. This is not turning into a health channel, by the way, in any way, shape, or form. Let's see here. Hey, there's a question. Bender, is it true you made your money from your family and you're a break-even sports bettor? Trey, okay, so Trey jumping on here. Him and his buddy blocked yesterday on Facebook. Sorry about that, my man. Just get tired of the negativity. So yeah, I mean, you know what? I don't need to bring it up. I posted your buddy's comment on Facebook for all people to see. Attack me personally. Yeah. So, I guess that's one way you can look at it. You can say, my family gave me all this money. I started out with millions of dollars, and then, now I'm just, playing with people's emotions for fun. But, why would I be out delivering pizzas and stuff? My family did help me out financially. They honest to God did. I went to my dad one day. I would have been, I don't know, maybe 18 or 19. I was delivering pizzas. I was working 3 jobs. And yeah, I went to my dad one day, and I literally, in between checks, I needed to borrow some money, and it was a crushing day for me. I felt like completely devastated that I had to. I'm proud. I have pride, right? I had to go ask my dad for some help, and he did. He gave me $100, and on the way back, I cried. I actually cried in my car because I felt like I just felt that, maybe that had diminished his opinion of me. So, yeah, if you guys want to say that, yeah, I got a bunch of money. You know what? I worked so hard in my life to get where I am, and it's just funny, like people like you, man. So, yeah. That pretty much answers that. I mean, I've had all these jobs over the years. If I got handed a silver spoon, I probably, would have gone a different route. My businesses, I bought and paid for my businesses 100% on my own. Nothing was handed to me. My bankroll was built working multiple jobs. I've had a ton of jobs. I worked in a video store emporium. I worked at Dave & Buster's. I worked for the Toronto Blue Jays selling programs. I delivered pizzas. It was a terrible job. With gas, I don't even know that I made any money. It was just, it was some way to get money in my pocket. I sold cars. I did everything. So, yeah, I see what you're trying to do. And yeah, you and your buddy, that's why you guys got the boot yesterday. And his nice personal attacks on me and my family this morning were a lot of fun. So, again, I just don't have time in my life for that. But yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, yeah, good question. So how large a bet to register is Steam? And that's it. Honestly, big mystery still. Okay. Some stuff, like some of my smaller bets, will show up as Steam on 5 dimes. I do think that like Pinnacle has like a little bit of a higher standard. Like that'd be really, really high bets. But it's weird. And here's the weird part is every once in a while, I'll put in like multiple like really big plays and they don't show up as Steam. And then the smaller plays do show up as Steam. So I think Steam is definitely, it's definitely large bets, but it's also who's betting and on what sport, how much is a factor. But there's a lot of factors involved in that. Love to get, a little bit more clarification. And I'm curious as well with some of the books, like when you see like 888 Sports, like I'm curious, like I don't put too much creed into like Steam coming out of like 888 Sports and stuff like that. And some of the newer books, again, not much, but when you see the 5 dime Steam and you see Pinnacle and Heritage, especially in basketball, that's the stuff like you kind of sit up and take notice. Yeah. Bob's Racing. Have you ever tried horse racing? Okay. So I talked about this a little before. So people always, when I talk about horse racing, there's always people get offended and be like, you're wrong, Bender. You can win at horse betting or you can win at betting horse racing. So my experience is that horse racing is a very, very, very difficult bet to win and almost impossible for the general public unless you're actually immersed in that and you know exactly what's going on. You know the trainers, you know the jockeys, you know the horses. It's almost impossible to win. I'll tell you a couple reasons why. Friend of my dad's years ago, he owned some race horses, and he said to my dad, he was talking about like, betting on horse racing. It's a sucker's bet. And he goes, I'll tell you, one of the reasons why, because he's like, I can never tell you when my horse is going to win. So like I could have a horse, he's won 3 races in a row. He's placed 5 races in a row. He goes, I can never tell you when he's going to win. He goes, but I can tell you when he's not going to win because they have like tune-up races. They have races where they're not going out to win. They're going to go out and just run it, preparing for another, like a stakes race or something. So the fact of the matter is that might be a huge favorite. It might be like a 1-8 favorite thinking this horse has won his last 4 races and he goes out there and he doesn't even place. The owner knew he wasn't going to place. The jockey and trainer knew he wasn't going to place, but the betting public had no idea. That's one aspect. The other aspect is just the massive, massive house edge. So basically, you're not betting against the sports book when you go to like parimutuel betting. What you're doing is you're taking money from a giant pool. So everybody puts money into this giant pool, and that dictates the end odds. So the problem with that is they take such a high percentage. Yeah, actually, Bob's Racing juice about 30%, right? fixed odds is a different story. Okay. So there's fixed odds, which you can get from like certain books where the odds you bet are the odds you get. Parimutuel is basically the odds you get at the track, and you're just taking from a pool. So they're taking a big chunk of that to pay the horses, pay the jockeys, pay all the, the prize pools, and make a profit. So betting it that way, it's really, really tough. It's really, really tough to turn a profit. And again, unless you're like, ear to the ground, it's tough. Yeah. I mean, yeah, parimutuel for noobs, I sure. But I mean, that's what people bet when they go to the track. Right. And I think, part of the allure, I've always said this, I said horse racing and betting on horse racing, for me, it's fun. It's a place to go with your friends and have a few drinks and, throw a couple bucks and have a good time. That's your entertainment dollars, right? No different than going to a movie or something, or you want a great place to take a date. I think anyways, great place to take a date. You can go there and have some fun with it, but to make serious money, tough, very, very tough. There was a guy, it was a group of guys in, I believe it was China. I think it was China. It was China or Japan. I think it was China. And they made hundreds of millions of dollars, betting it. And for a long time, they had computers set up, and they had a direct line in. They could bet right from their like office, and they made so much money. And the racetrack actually was like supportive of them for a long time because they didn't care. It wasn't like beating on a sports book. They were taking the other public's money, but then that information started to get out, and they kind of soured on that. And they made so much money. That at the end they were pretty much banned. And they actually won $1 million, like whatever it was, pick 6 or pick 3 or something. You guys, it's a documentary on YouTube. They won $1 million, and they didn't even cash it. So it's pretty wild. But they won hundreds of millions of dollars, and very, very interesting story. But the betting was different over there, and their statistical modeling was like absolutely spot on. Like they spent a significant amount of money. Yeah. So, but anyways, horse racing. It's not for me. Look, I looked at it. I tried. I'm naturally inquisitive. I tried to build systems back in the day. Woodbine Racetrack, the old standardbred racing, which is like, where they have like the buggies behind. Thoroughbred never really got into, but I just could never crack that house edge. And it always came back to that one point. Always came back to that one point that, that friend of my dad said that I can't tell you when my horse is going to win. Okay. Sometimes he goes out and he tries to win, but I can tell you when he's not going to win. And the public just doesn't know that, right? It doesn't know that. That would be like, the Yankees manager saying, okay, guys, we're having a good year, but we're going to go ahead and, just practice today. It's like, I don't want anyone to actually go out there and try. It's, I don't know. So, very, very tough, very tough. Let's see. Bill Benter. Yeah, I think that's the guy made. Is that the guy? Was that the guy in there made over $1 billion on horse? I know it's high hundreds millions. That might be the guy. Actually, I think that might be the guy. It was in Asia, if I'm not. I know it was China or Japan. I really think it was China. This is a tough question. What are your thoughts on sports betting whale? Look, I don't know. I don't know the guy's record. But I've seen his emails. I've had his emails forwarded to me, and the stories that come along with these emails are just so like far out, right? So wild and far. And it's never just like this simple story. It's always like, it sounds to me like the Nigerian prince scam. Every one of his emails sounds like a Nigerian prince scam, right? Like it's, he'll posting saying that like, so this person got cancer and they needed $500,000 for treatment, and they were able to win $500,000 in 1 month and pay for their cancer treatment, and now they're cancer free. And it's like every story is so bloody far out. To me, it screams Nigerian prince scam. So I really don't know. I don't know the guy's records, but I mean, it screams. It screams. I don't know, possible scam. I don't know. But I don't know the guy. I don't know. Like I can't say for sure. I don't know. And again, like, there's just so much stuff you see out there, like people posting tickets and stuff like that, showing these massive tickets, and they say, look, I bet $50,000 on this team, okay? Or the tickets, like I bet like $100,000. Like as a sharp, okay? I can tell you from experience, as a legit sharp, good luck going into a casino and getting a 100K ticket. You know who they'll write a 100K ticket to? Vegas Dave or Steve Stevens. They'll give them a $100,000 ticket. But good luck as a legit sharp, and I think any sharp will tell you this. When you're moving that money, guys, you have to spread it around. You're not going to get that down at one book. Maybe Super Bowl or something like that. But no. And so again, when you see big tickets like that, you got to question it. But on the flip side of the coin is too, you look at this, how hard is it for someone like that to go up and, place a ticket like that? Then bet the exact other side. So yeah, look, they're gonna pay 10K in juice, but they're these massive marketing machines. So these massive marketing machines, it looks like they've got a big $100,000 ticket, but they have no risk of losing that ticket, and they use that and they market it over and over and over again. Or the cheapest possible way is they just Photoshop it, right? I actually found one guy on Instagram who was producing his own tickets, and you know how I knew he was producing his own tickets? Because he was smart enough to change the stuff, but he was never smart enough to change the little barcode at the bottom. So I'm like, this guy's barcodes are all the same. The barcodes are what they scan to actually cash the ticket. That's what the computer reads. The computer doesn't read the thing on top. So this guy literally had one ticket. He Photoshopped them all, but he never changed the little barcode at the bottom. So they were all completely identical barcodes. So yeah, anyways, I have 3 horse ornaments behind. I know you love horse. So I'm staying at my mom's and my soon-to-be stepdad's house right now. We take possession of our new house in just under 2 weeks. So yeah, they're like definitely into horses. They got a horse farm out there. I think it's really cool. I was always involved when I was younger. I was involved in racing. My family all involved in like racing, car racing, stuff like that. My mom loved horses. The thing that I just never got on board with horses, like for the most part, when you're in a cart and you go left into a corner, most of the time the cart's going to go left into the corner. That's, the plan. When you're on a horse and you want to go left, if that horse wants to go right, he's going right. So I just never got in, never really got into it. I love horses, but I just never really got into it. Are you in Toronto? Yeah, I'm north of Toronto. I'm north of Toronto. I lived for a number of years in Newmarket, but yeah, I've moved a little bit further north. And well, right now we're in limbo, staying here for a little while, but we'll be moving into our new house in a little while. Super Bowl prediction. Too early, way too early for Super Bowl. Who do I like in the home run derby? You know what? That's another good question. So I was looking at it. There's so many good options. I was trying to break down the actual math behind it. I really think it's tough. Like I think most books are juicing this pretty well. So it's tough. And it's hard to find value because Colorado, with that air, it's going to be wild. It's going to be absolutely wild. I mean, there's going to be some massive numbers put up. But again, when you look at high numbers, you look at what? Increased variance, right? So, I mean, I would look, if I had to bet that, or I was going to bet it, I would look for a dog. And maybe a guy like, Story at 9-1 potentially. I don't remember him being 9-1. I remember my book up. You're probably right. But yeah, potentially someone like that. I mean, like Vladdy obviously is going to be up there, but you're going to pay such a premium to bet on a guy like that. I would really think that, it's, I would think it's going to be a tough one to bet. What were the odds on Conor would break his ankle? Yeah, geez. So again, like I don't really cap UFC. I had people like some sharp bettors telling me fade him, bet against him. The line, the only reason apparently he was just a small dog was because the public loves him and the public bets so much on him. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know enough about it to bet it. And I worked with a guy who did some combat sports a number of years ago, boxing, UFC, and that just didn't really work out. So, I don't bet it. Like, it's one of those things, like, even if Billy Walters came back in and said, Bender, go ahead, bet this game, I would probably do it. But outside of that, I just like to have a good firm grasp of stuff that, that I'm firing out on. And that's why, like, soccer, I got into soccer. It took a long time before I got like all my English Premier League, and I want to branch out and do maybe possibly some North American soccer. Definitely want to do some more European soccer. But yeah, I mean, it takes time. Someone else told me, like, low hanging fruit right now is golf, like matchups, really, really low hanging fruit. So again, something I look into, but it's never a matter of just, hey, I want to bet on golf, so let's start betting on golf. It takes months to build this up. In some cases, like a year, and you got to back test and do all that kind of stuff. So, it seems like a lot of cappers aren't doing super great with baseball. Yeah, I mean, it's pardon me. It's been through certain times. It's certainly been challenging. It has been challenging at certain times. I know that, like, a lot of the systems that I have, I go through some of them. A lot of the systems that, they hit 57, 58, 59%. This year they're hitting, 49, 50, 52%. So, a lot of the systems that used to be kind of just go ahead, fire away, they're not coming in. And that's on both sides of the coin, both like with favorites, and with dogs as well. But it has been a unique year. But again, honestly, I don't really have any reason to believe that, it's not still going to be a really solid year for baseball. June was obviously great for us. August has been historically good. Last August, good month. Best month I've ever had in sports betting. I talked about a number of years ago. August in baseball, crazy. So we're obviously, we're the beginning, a third of the way through July. So, I'd love to get back on track with baseball in July. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, I think there definitely is some, you can see from the steam, right? You can see from the steam when you look at a lot of times in baseball, if you guys have access to Sports Insight, a lot of times when you look at, the steam that's coming in on a game, you see a lot of green. Green means that there's steam from profitable books. You see a lot of green, a little bit of the white. White is the unprofitable book. This year, this year it's kind of like a lot of white. So that would lead me to believe that, a lot of the sharps are struggling a little bit with baseball. But again, baseball, there's so many different variables. Why I love baseball so much, there's so many different variables, so many things to cap, that it's one of those sports. It's only, it's only possible a certain amount of time before the sharps adjust to everything and the line moves and stuff like that. So, the challenging thing to me this year really has been like these crazy pitching changes again, with Philly today. Like I said, Philly down as a 2-unit play today. Nola goes out, got to go back, recap the game. It's tough. Like I thought there was so much value on Philly. I still say it's like Philly or no bet at all. But I couldn't get there. So, let's see here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get caught up on some of these. Okay. So that's maybe that's a good thing to talk about one day. I'm not going to do it now, but yeah, looking at like, you can look at alternative lines and really, really, really get a good idea of at least what side the books are kind of believing that a game is going to go. And, there's certain things where, moving a line, you can look at 2 games. So let's say you got two totals of 8. Okay. There are 2 totals of 8, and you want to use an alternate line. You want to move that up to bet over, but you want to bet over 9.5. So you want to move it up a full run and a half. And at one book, you're getting, +1, or at one game, you're getting +160. And on another game, you're only getting +145. And you think, okay, like, why the discrepancy? Because again, the book is shading their line and looking at numbers and understanding. And that's where like a lot of experience comes in, understanding the book's motivation on certain things can really help you not necessarily bet games, but certainly lay off of games. Okay. Certainly lay off of games. Yeah. I mean, there was one, like, to be honest, like I'm still contemplating a little bit potentially. I like the Yankees Houston game. I like that over, 8.5 minus 114. I do like that. I contemplated moving that line a little bit. But again, I felt like moving that line up, you can move it up to 10. I found it at 10. I found plus anywhere from plus 158 up to 162 was the highest. But again, I felt like, I don't know if that was the greatest value. I felt like maybe you should be getting a little bit more, jumping up a full run and a half. And again, 10 not being a half number. So you need to get to 11 in order to win that. So 9 wins it at a current bet, but 11 wins it. So that's actually 2 runs. So plus 160. But again, it's shaded down, which makes me feel a little bit better, even though I like it already. It makes me feel better about the over, right? So, yeah. Let's see. All right, guys. So, a little bit longer. I'm probably going to wrap it up pretty soon. I just wanted to kind of jump on here, and I guess a couple of things. So I did want to talk about like yesterday and stuff. And if anyone had any bankroll management questions, stuff like that, because again, I try to I try to send it out, and at the end of the day, I'm discussing it a lot when we do like more picks in terms of the bankroll management on big days, like, reducing unit size and stuff like that. But, if people have questions about that, I'm happy to address that. Let's see here. Okay. So, over unders have no value really, a minus 110. Well, we'll have to agree to disagree, especially for me in baseball, where there is so many weather variables, and historically I've done pretty well with that. As the game evolves, that could be the case. I mean, this year, you have basically this year you have different humidors in different parks. You have balls that are reducing the distance. We're dealing with as I think I mentioned it on I think it was I have a Masterclass video. I said this year, guys, is going to be like the whole scandal is going to be the sticky stuff, and then it happened. I knew it was going to happen. It was like boiling under the surface, and the compounds they were using were just I don't know. It was too much of an advantage. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, where we go further. But there is always going to be it is always going to be advantages there. So let's just see here. Would you pay $99 if you were on this side? Be honest. Okay, that's a question. All right. So I pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month for various different educational and systems and all kinds of different stuff. And I'm constantly investing in myself. So, I mean, that's a personal question that I can't answer. Obviously, I don't want just anyone and everyone in Masterclass. I don't want people in Masterclass that are just like basically just come for picks and that's it, and could care less about sports betting, because when you have a bad day, you get that reaction of like people that just can't possibly handle losing. So at the end of the day, is $99 to educate yourself daily, as well as get all the educational videos and my picks. Is it worth it? In my opinion, yeah. I mean, I know there's other guys charged like whatever, $300-400 a week. Don't hit the numbers that I hit. So yeah, I mean, look, I priced it. Could I price it higher? I'm sure. And again, I'm not making great business decisions when it comes to selling Masterclass. Like, there's probably a million things that I could do if I wanted to really push Masterclass better. But I priced it there because I feel like, you shouldn't be excluded from getting that educational value if you're new to sports betting, if you're getting into sports betting. And that's like where I made all those mistakes when I got into sports betting. Okay. When I got into sports betting, I made all kinds of bankroll management mistakes. I made like fundamental different mistakes, like all kinds of stuff that I felt like, okay, like, I can make this teachable. I can convert this into a masterclass and educate people on how not to make the same mistakes. But the biggest thing that I was thinking about, like, look, if I went out and I charge, whatever, $500 a month or something for that, it's going to limit it to people who like, are betting like massive amounts. At $99 a month, it's like $3 a day. I feel like it's accessible to everybody. Okay. I mean, really at the end of the day, it's accessible to anyone who has, money to be betting on sports with. So, that was a big deciding factor there as well. But I did, there does have to be a level of commitment as well. And I mean, I'd be naive to think that basically everyone is in Masterclass for the education. I know that's not the case, but I know some people really, really are. And I love engaging with different people on different topics, especially like really, really in depth. I know the people who are, they're educating themselves on it. And, I saw it, like the messages I got when I was away fishing, and I didn't respond or didn't get back to any message, but I came back and I read through these, and Masterclass members making these picks on like good systems and saying, hey, look, there's money distributions there. That I like this pitching matchup. This team hits lefties better and yada, yada. And I'm like, this is like, that's gold, right? I mean, it's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy and I'm proud of a lot of like the Masterclass members and stuff like that. So, yeah, I really do, I enjoyed it. But anyways, to answer your question, it's a personal question for me personally. If I think something's going to better me and make me better educated, especially because this is my career, right? I mean, I don't know if it's just a hobby. That's personally, that's a decision for you, but it's my career. So I'll always invest in myself. It's kind of like this story. I go back to talking about, my lawyer and my accountant are expensive. They're very expensive. And I don't look at them as being an expense. There's a lot of people that would say you're crazy for paying your accountant that much money. And it's a lot. But I don't look at it as an expense. Okay. I own multiple businesses. I want the best accountant. Okay. And paying him that money, I'm not like, I don't feel like I'm paying him that money. I feel like I'm investing in myself and in my businesses. And I really think that's the right approach. So, could I find a cheaper option? Could I find a better option? Maybe not a better option. Could I find a cheaper option? Yeah, I definitely could. But why? I'm only shorting myself in that situation. So I found my accountant through a referral, actually. And the first time I ever went and met with him, I knew it was going to be a good match. So he is still very selective about who he works with. You need a referral. He actively works in managing like businesses and companies and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's the first time we ever met, I had sat down with him. He said, come by. It wasn't said to be an interview, but it kind of was an interview. I only got through the door because I had a referral. And basically we ended up doing what was supposed to be a 15 or 20 minute meeting. We ended up talking for an hour and a half. Finally, he's like, okay, like I really got to get back to it. But no, he's a great guy and brilliant. And he's a team member. I look at him as a team member, and again, a guy like I invest in myself. So yeah, I don't look at it like I'm overpaying for an accountant. I think I'm getting my money's worth. Absolutely. Let's see. Kiraton, do you bet 1K a game? So again, I've never really discussed, probably nor will I discuss what I bet on a game, but suffice it to say, I was doing that when I turned pro. So if you watch my video, like I've talked about a few times, when I turned pro a little over 16 years ago, coming up on 16 and a half. Well, it is 16 and a half years now. I had 100K bankroll. I built up to 100K bankroll, both from sports betting, from working multiple jobs. Mind you, if you ask some people on here, I just, some mysterious donor, my family just gave me $50 million and off I went. But no, I was working multiple jobs, building it up, and I got to 100K, and that's where I kind of made that transition. I was slowly making that transition, but that's where I made that transition over. And at that point, I was betting 1%. My bankroll has grown significantly since then, many times over. And I bet much less than 1% per game now for a number of reasons. One, it's too tough to get the money down. And, two, I don't need to be betting 1% anymore. So really at this point in my career, just really, limiting the risk and everything like that. And again, I think it's important when we're growing our bankrolls, right? We want to do a couple things. We want to always increase our bankroll, but we also want to mitigate risk. Okay. You want to mitigate risk. So as you're growing your bankroll, say you take a bankroll from 10,000 up to 20,000, you're betting, 3% per game. Well, at 20,000, obviously your unit size is going to go up. But what a lot of people feel reluctant to do, and I think is important, is mitigate your risk. Now you're not dealing with a 10K bankroll. Now you're dealing with a 20K bankroll. Why not go down to 2.5% or 2%, right? So, that's what you want to do. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up here pretty much, guys. Let's see. Sports Insight versus Don. Sports Insight for me personally. Again, whatever works for you guys. Sports Insight for me. Definitely all the way. Have I ever hit a 10-team parlay? I don't know. I honestly, honest to God, I don't know. It wouldn't have been in the last, since I turned pro, that's for sure. Maybe when I was, no, you know what? Probably never hit a 10-team parlay, because even back then, like I used to play, like when I was a kid, like, I don't know, like literally a kid, just play pro line occasionally. And I think the max they had was like 7. They would have, or no, 6, sorry, it was 6. Yeah, six games you could bet. But no, I don't think I ever did. And nor would I ever really want to, because I know that the amount of money that you would lose, the amount of house edge on that when you finally do hit, if you want to bet $1 or $2 or $5 and that's your entertainment, go ahead and do that. But just know that it's an impossibility to win on parlays. And it's so funny. Like I have people argue math with me all the time, and arguing math with someone is frustrating because people who argue math don't get it. But I know there's people still convinced you can make a lot of money betting big parlays. And you know what? I think the best way that you just settle that argument is how many 16 parlays did Billy Walters win? He didn't bet them. Okay. If Billy Walters felt there was a better edge to bet parlays, wouldn't he have just bet parlays? Why did he waste his time betting these ridiculous straight bets? Why would he only bet one teamers? Why? Why not bet a 16 parlay and go for that home run? Because he knew the house edge was impossible to beat. Billy Walters, the greatest of all time. It was impossible to beat, okay? I mean, he's the best in the world, but it literally like taking the greatest running back in history and taping cement blocks to his ankles and saying, now go out there and win a Super Bowl. He might be the greatest, but I mean, he's being held back, right? And that's what parlays are, guys. It's an impossibility to beat parlays long-term. You can have an edge over two team parlays. You can edge over 2 team parlays on correlating plays, okay? When one play will influence another play. But again, you're dealing with a 10% house edge. So straight bet, guys, 4.5% house edge. You're dealing with reduced juice. You can get a little bit better, obviously, than that. A 2-team parlay, you're already up to 10%. People go in the casino, sports bettors. I love this. I love it. Sports bettors go in and, I hang out with a lot of sports bettors, okay? Some of them are some of them are great, but they're also degenerate gamblers. And they'll go, play on the roulette table and they'll play, the big wheel and anything you can gamble on. They'll probably gamble on if the sun will come up tomorrow. But there's other sports bettors that say, I'll never play a table game. I'll never play roulette because it's such a huge house edge, 3.5%, 4% house edge. I'll never do that. And then they walk up to the window and they place a 4-team parlay. I mean, the house edge on it, we're getting to 25, 30, 40, 60% house edge on some of these parlays. There is no possible way you're ever going to win it. Never, 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 never. But you can find you can find edges and you can find situations. Some books are better than others for it. But again, I feel so reluctant, and maybe I feel so reluctant to educate people on parlay betting. There's a way to do it, and there's a time and place sporadically where you can make money and you can be profitable. But I just have this fear deep down inside that I'm going to say, okay, look, this is the exact proper way of betting parlays, and the things to look for. I just honestly feel like my experience with this channel has told me that that'll be basically people's green light to go ahead and bet 3, 4, 5, 16 parlays, trying to do that exact kind of modeling and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel reluctant. Like I was doing again, teasers is another one. Teasers. I showed you guys in a video. I think, or maybe I just did a masterclass. I might have just done this in masterclass. I think I did it with you guys. I don't know, with everyone. There's profitable teaser bets in football. There's no such thing as a profitable teaser bet in basketball. Doesn't exist. And even the football ones are very, very selective. And now the books are getting smart, and they're changing the lines a little bit. I was successful a number of years ago with some bets called pleasers. Okay, pleasers are the opposite of teasers. Pleasers are the opposite of teasers, and they carry a massive house edge. But basically, instead of getting 6 points, you'd be giving away 6 points on a pleaser, and you bet multiple teams. But I was doing that with college basketball, using my college basketball super system, and I was hitting them pretty well. So I would find that my edge on some of these games was 5.5, 6, 7 points. So I could find these games, and I would do open team pleasers. So they don't come up very often, but I would do open team pleasers. So I would do 2 and 3 team pleasers where I would fill in one, and then I would just let it sit there. Okay, you can do that at some books. You let it sit there with 2 open bets. You can fill those in at a later date. So I'd be very, very selective, and I'd wait, and I'd find another opportunity and do it again. And then I would fill, and I was making some good money. I was making some good money doing that. But a couple of things happened. One, the primary book I was using reduced their pleaser payouts. So, less value. And, and again, like over the last year and a half, we've just seen those, we've seen those basketball numbers tighten up where, the edges are not 7, 6.5 points anymore. They're more like 3.5, 4.5 point edges and stuff like that, which is still really significant. Wong teasers. So Wong teasers, exactly, guys. Stand for Wong. Those are the NFL teasers. So if you want to learn more about it, I think I did a video on it. You can certainly use that great internet resource and just Google it. Stand for Wong, guys. Wong teasers. They're a mathematical edge you have over the sports books, long-term betting certain key numbers in football, in NFL, only NFL, not college football. That's a mistake people make, and they think, I can do it here, I can do it in college. It's not profitable in college. But again, even betting those sports books, they know it too. They're onto it. Okay. It's why sometimes you'll see like sports books like start to fade lines, like moving point spreads and then going to plus money on their point spreads. They're doing that to avoid people getting those key numbers. The short books are anyways. I think a lot of the US books, you could probably find these lines still and have a good advantage. So, I think someone asked about the basketball game today. I gave out a play after. So after that Cleveland one got canceled, I gave it out. I was really looking at it for a number of reasons. I saw there's been a lot of steam on Milwaukee. I saw some steam come in on Phoenix back to back, boom, boom, as I was like finishing off my capping. So I said, you know what, let me wait on this game. Let me see. I did the video. More steam came out of Milwaukee. I said, okay, you know what, it's time to pull the trigger on this. Went Milwaukee first half money line. Again, number of systems on it. One of the systems I have 74%. So very, very strong. And when you're betting the favorites on those games, even stronger. So really, really good. There's good numbers out there. Look, I put the bet out at a number that people could get. Okay. Minus 195. It's pretty well accessible to anyone, but I've seen as low as minus 150. Someone actually posted minus 150, minus 180. so there's good numbers out there, but at minus 195, there's still a really good edge. So, you can, I'm not saying go to 2 units, but you can scale your bet up proportionately. If you're getting 20 points better, 30 points better on that line, you're paying minus 165, you can scale that up a little bit. Okay. Don't go crazy, but you can scale it up a little bit. But again, from a straight statistical standpoint, plus I do like the fact, like, at least what I perceive, I'll have to go back through the numbers again, but I'm liking, I am liking seeing a fair amount of public money with the Suns. I feel like the Suns, surprisingly, with Milwaukee, the Suns are just kind of that, that public team this year, right? Or, I mean, at least at the tail end of the playoffs. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly, J-Dog. People need to remember that 74% means it will still lose 26% of the time. Yes, exactly. So, again, even like going back when I do like the 3-unit plays and stuff, I think, I constantly mention when doing a 3-unit play is like, we've done really well with our 3-unit plays, obviously. But people need to keep in mind that, like, there is nothing that's 100% in sports betting ever. So, trying to use, logic instead of feeling. Yeah, exactly. It's funny that at the end of the day, so much of what I do is based on math. So much is based on math. Okay. It's like trying to arrive at a percentage, what you think a team will win at, and then converting that over to what the true odds should be, comparing it to what the actual odds are, finding an edge. Where the expertise comes into play is recognizing situations. Okay. Just recognizing certain situations that occur, understanding why the books have set the lines, where they've set the lines, and understanding when they're trying to get you to bet on one side. And a lot of being a professional sports bettor is laying off certain games. Okay. That is a lot of, it is just, the expertise to know that there's 5 or 6 things that might line up on this, but there's something wrong fundamentally with this game, and then get out of it. Number recognition, things like that. You get so used to it, right? You just get so used to it. I mean, you see things that just don't appear to be right. And I would imagine, like, it's not dissimilar from people that trade, trade stocks, or like, they're investment bankers and stuff. It's numbers, it's finding value. And I'm sure that, a lot of those guys, like looking at like RSI, or relative strength index, or looking at like all kinds of different charts. A lot of those guys who trade the fundamentals and understand the math behind it, which is a totally different skill set. Those guys could basically, probably take that skill set and over a course of many, many years, change it into sports betting. Not that they would want it. There's a whole lot of money probably in that. I'm sure, sports betting has been amazing for me. I've done well. Could I have made more money applying the same mathematics and, got myself a job, in investment banking or something? Yeah, probably. I mean, almost certainly I probably could have. Do I want to sit in an office wearing a suit, glad handing people I don't like? Or do I want the freedom that sports betting give me? And no doubt, freedom. I love sports betting. It's my passion. That's the other thing too. It's my passion. Like, you can go through and you can break down the fundamentals. Like I know how to read like spreadsheets and quarterlies and stuff like that. And it's numbers, so I like it and I do that stuff, but it becomes tedious. It becomes boring. So anyways, all right. So, I'm pretty much, I know, look, every time I do one of these, like I say, okay, I'm going to go half hour. Last time I think I went like an hour and a half. I am going to wrap it up here, guys. And I do feel bad about, I know that some people basically ask questions. I don't get to everyone. So I apologize if I did miss you. yeah, that's pretty much it. So remains to be seen. Remains to be seen what tomorrow will look like, but we'll see. Potentially, we'll have potential of free pick and or two, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, but anyways, gonna wrap it up here, guys. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come and chat, and obviously, you know, further education and stuff like that. And sports betting, guys, is an ongoing, forever education. Okay, I know some people will be unhappy to hear this, but you never are finished your sports. There's never like this master level. I think it, like, if you compare like martial arts and stuff, you think that someone who's earned, and this might be wrong, I don't know martial arts, but someone's earned like their 10th degree black belt, they become like a master. Do you think they literally are done learning? No, they're not. There's still things to be learned, right? And it's the same thing with sports betting, that the second that you stop learning and the second that you stop evolving, the sports book will get an edge on you. It is this back and forth cat and mouse game where you beat the books and the books try to counter it. And then, you know, you beat them again and they try to counter it. And you always have to be evolving. You know, you have to have a cool head about yourself too, guys. Bottom line, you have to have a cool head. Days like yesterday, they suck, but you know what? And I'll be perfectly honest. So yesterday, guys, you know, it was a miserable day, but if I was not doing this, if I wasn't giving you guys picks, and especially the fact that I gave out, like, you know, to all the free pick people, I really wouldn't have sweated yesterday. Yesterday to me was more of a sweat because, you know, I hate losing for other people. It's kind of the conundrum that I have where, you know, I want to educate, I want to continue to do the free plays, but I don't want to cost people money. And again, I can deal with it. I can always deal with it. I've been doing it for so long that, again, it just doesn't, you know, it doesn't faze me. You know, like when I was younger, yeah, like that's when I had bad bankroll management and all that stuff. And, you know, it sucks losing. I hate losing, but losing to me is not like, it's not an emotional thing. Losing to me is more along the lines of like, you know, I want to do better tomorrow. I want to fix these mistakes. Why I constantly go back over all my games. You know, I think it's important to go back, win, lose, or draw, to go back over all your games. Do you guys think that I enjoyed that this morning? Do you think, like, I didn't sleep well last night? I really didn't, because, you know, I was concerned about the outcome of yesterday and, you know, some of the messages and stuff. And, you know, I think maybe potentially people betting over their head. And I mean, that's their decision. We're adults here. People make that decision. But I was like, you know, I was upset by it. But the last thing I wanted to do was wake up this morning and go back over all of these games that sucked. I mean, you know, and going back, like looking, the one was hard, like looking at this Boston Philly game, I think 8 runs, like it cruising to the under, 8 runs in the 8th inning. I mean, it sucked. But anyways, okay, I'm not saying that guy's name on here, but anyways, yeah. Anyways, look, sports betting, guys, it can be highly rewarding, but one of the biggest things, just, you know, got to keep the emotions in check. And yeah, so and Donnie laughing at my thing. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there, guys. I think, okay, someone sorry, I gotta scroll back one thing, because there was one I wanted to mention. I don't see it anymore. Okay, yeah, okay. Someone said earlier, email me. Okay, guys, if you are interested, if you want to email me, it's RBI review at gmail.com. That's the one I use for sports betting, RBI review at gmail.com. I try to get back to people, guys. I literally, like, you should see my inbox. It is gross. Like, anything I get sports betting related, I star it a certain color, and I try to answer questions. But it's like, it's an impossibility, like so far behind. And yeah, I apologize for that. But again, like, one man show, right? Same thing with Instagram. I think, I don't know, I have probably 40 or 50 unanswered Instagram messages. So yeah, anyways, gonna wrap it up there, guys. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. So yeah, as always, guys, have a very lucky day.